Welcome to Pouches and More, and today we'll prepare this fabric basket or box. It's a small one. I have kept clips in it. These are the clips that I use for stitching. So this is how it will be looking. It's got a lining also and it's got a binding strip also. So let's check out the materials required to make this box. We require one piece of main fabric that has been quilted and one piece of lining fabric. Both of them measure 7 inches by 7 inches. We require a binding strip and this measures 1 3/4 inches by 16 inches. So this binding strip has just been folded in half. So we are going to use it like this. So these are the materials required. First we are going to make a box in the corners. So we are going to make a box of 1 1/2 inches. So this will be the side of the basket or box. Now this is one box. I will do that on all 3 corners. The box is done on the main fabric. We'll be doing the same thing on the lining fabric also. So 4 corners, 1 1/2 inch box. So once the box is drawn on all 4 corners, we're just going to cut this. Now we're just going to join the main fabrics like this. So once the box is cut, we're just going to join the sides of the box like this and make a stitch. So on all corners we'll be doing that. So this will be the side of the box or basket. In case you want it to be a little taller, you can always make a bigger box that will be around 2 inches or 2 1/2 inches. Also depending on the base, you can increase it. So main fabric is done. We'll do the same thing for the lining fabric. We are going to join this on the right side. So the right sides will be together. So here we are going to make a stitch on all 4 sides on the lining fabric as well as on the main fabric. So we have finished stitching and we are just going to turn the main fabric box to the right side and we poke the corners out neatly. Now we need to put them together. So we just put the lining fabric. We are going to keep the lining fabric wrong side inside. So this is how it will be. We make a stitch on the edge. While making a stitch, we'll first start joining by the corners that we just stitched. So one seam will be on the right and the lining fabric seam will be on the left. So we're just going to put the seams to the wrong sides. And we'll be doing that for all 4 corners. So if we put the main fabric seam on the right side, we'll put the lining fabric seam on the left side. So opposite sides we are going to put the seam. We can also flatten it and put them together, but I am doing it like this. Just see that the stitch marks are aligned. So once the 4 corners are done, we're just going to make a stitch on the edge on top, that is only to hold the boxes, that is the fabrics together. Now in case we need to make any adjustments in the lining fabric, we have to do it now before making the stitch. Then we can clip them together. So I've clipped the entire lining and main fabric and we'll be making a stitch just in the edge, that is only to hold the fabrics together. So our stitching is done and we have just made a stitch in the edge. Now for putting the binding, we'll start from the center somewhere and we'll align the raw edges together. So the folded part will be down, the raw edge we will be aligning with the raw edge and we'll start clipping all around. Now once we reach the end, we will leave a little extra and cut the extra fabric in case there is any extra fabric left. So this fabric we will be cutting. We are just going to cut it off. And this is the end. Now we will stitch all around. We are going to leave a little and then start stitching from here. I have turned the pouch to the wrong side, that is the right side is inside, since I will be comfortable stitching like this. Now once we reach the end, we have left both the ends. We have finished stitching, but we have left both the ends loose like this, and we have left a gap. Now we are just going to get them to the center. So first one part binding we will get them, and then the second the other side, and we are just going to finger press so we get a mark on it, and then we will be stitching right in the center over here. So as of now we are just going to pin it, and then we will make a stitch on the center. So again here, once we have pinned it, there is a lot of extra fabric left. We are just going to cut this, and once we finish stitching this, we are just going to make a stitch on this also, that is to complete it. So now we just cut this extra and flatten the seam over here, and then we'll continue the stitch, that is the open part that we left in the binding. We're just going to complete it. So the binding will be complete. Now here we are just going to make a stitch. Now our binding one side is already done. We need to, for completing the binding, we just need to fold it like this on the other side. Now where we have made a joint, we are just going to make an arrow sort of thing on the joint so that it is not shown outside. And we need to make a fold all around on the binding strip. So when we make a fold over here, we are going to fold it like this. When we make a fold over here, we will be stitching over here on this side. We will be making a stitch. And we have to see that the binding is also held with that stitch. So once we are making a stitch over here, it should be held on this side. The binding strip should be held on this side. So according to that, we need to fold the binding neatly. We have completely done the binding, and this is how it will be looking. So if we make a stitch on the other side, the entire binding will be caught over there. So binding is done, and we have turned the box to the right side. This is how it will be looking. It's simple to make. You can keep small things. Please to try this. Thanks for watching. Bye.